Contact.
Hello everybody, welcome to America. Today I'm going to be starting to dive into doing the front brakes on my 1983 R model Mack, affectionately known to YouTube fans young and old as the Deputy Dog. So I'm going to my plan is going to start taking it apart tonight, figure out what I need so I can get the parts before the weekend so I can work on it during the weekend. So this will probably be a two-parter. Don't be surprised if I'm wearing different clothes next time you see me. So that being said, let's jump into it. Alright, so I want to make a disclaimer here that at no point do I claim to be an expert truck mechanic. And that's, so take that for what it's worth. I used to work on these types of brakes when I was in high school in the bus barn, the high school buses. So I have a little bit of an idea what's going on, but I'm pretty rusty. And so I'm basically just gonna be faking my way through it. So keep that in mind. That being said, gotta pull this drain plug here, drain the oil out of this hub, pull the hub off. I'm gonna see what size this spindle nut is. I'm pretty sure I do not have one, but I got a couple friends and I'm probably gonna end up borrowing one, or I'll buy one. They can't be that expensive. So, got the old Drainapalooza concert here. The dust out of it first. She's a little snug. So, this is where we employ a little trick I learned in logging camp in Saskatchewan. Call this flexible cardboard funnel. It doesn't have to be a cardboard beer box, but it helps. And you put that like that and it'll keep all the oil off of your deal. Ta-da! See, we're going green. Even though the oil's kind of black. Let that drain. Put this plug underneath you. Okay, so that's gonna stop it for today. I need a 2 5/8 socket, which I do not have, but luckily I'm pretty sure I know some people that have them. There may even be one a few houses down, so I'm gonna look into that. Get one of those, pull this stuff apart, and hopefully I remember what I'm doing, and then we'll proceed from there. Hello everybody, we now join your Deputy Dog brake job already in progress. So, Day 2 of Deputy Dog Brakes. Borrowed this socket from my friend. This is my dad's friend first, but I'd call him my friend. Jim the banker Farner. Didn't have the right size socket to get this off last night, so I'm going to pull this off, see what I got, and make sure the parts that I picked up are correct. So in order to do that, there's a little metal ring that's around this nut that is a retainer to keep it from spinning off. I'm going to straighten that out with a punch, or flatten it out rather, put the socket on, spin the nut off, and then in a perfect world this whole hub assembly comes off, and hopefully I'm strong enough to pull it off in one piece. So stay tuned. So I'll show you in a second once I get it all apart, but my own personal thing, whenever I pull something apart like this with all the nuts and washers and spacers and things of that nature, I always try and lay them down in a neat, organized pile, usually on a shop rag, but currently in between shop rags at the moment. So I used a clean cardboard from one of the filters I did from when I changed the oil last weekend. And that way you can lay everything in the order. So a case like this case will probably be, it's a couple days before you get back to it, you still remember, or you're less likely to forget how everything went. So there's a bearing. Sign. Pretty sure the only thing that's holding that hub on there still is the seal. So here's what I was talking about. I laid everything in order in the reverse of how it came apart, because this might sit here for a day or two before I put it back together by the time I get all the parts, and I don't 100% know exactly what I'm doing. So when I go to put things back on, I know just start from that side or the top of the stack and go in that order, and they'll go back. Well, there might be part of the problem. Probably weighs more than I did when I graduated high school. Alright, so I got that pulled off, which is a plus. And actually, I think there was a leak in here at one point. I can't tell if it's leaking still or now, but on the plus side, the oil leak, kept everything from rusting. So, we got that going for us, which is nice. But as shiny as those are, yeah, I already bought the parts. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. But we got these off. Here's the S-cam, which has been over-greased at one point. Hopefully that wasn't me. So when I was in high school and we worked in the bus barn, there was a rule: you're only allowed to put one pump of grease in. I don't even see where it is. There should be a grease fitting in. Oh, it's down here. I don't know if you can see it. There's a grease fitting down here. This S-cam goes on a shaft in here, and that's what's connected to the chamber. Oh, this is way too zoomed in. So this S-cam is on a shaft that goes to here, and then this rod is connected to that, to your slack adjuster, and that's what turns this S-cam. It's called that because it kind of looks like an S. Who'd have thunk it? So that, and then there's a grease fitting on this tube so that it stays lubricated and doesn't wear out. Well, the rule of thumb was only one pump of grease every time we greased it, because if you over greased it, the grease would come out this end, fall down in here or up in here, and then it'd go around in your drums, which maybe that's where it came from. Wasn't even thinking of that. Because if it was gear oil, it would be washing right here, and it's nice and dirty, so that's good, I guess. So that's probably what happened why my brakes weren't working. So that's a plus. All right, folks, so here we are. Gonna get back after it. I'm gonna start pulling brakes off. I got the hardware kit and a pair of shoes for each side. And we'll see where we go from there. So I used to do this. I don't remember how, but we'll figure it out. So these brakes are pretty simple. So there's one spring around here that holds them at the top on the S-cam, and then I'm pretty sure this is what they call the anchor pin. There's one small pin here, and that's pretty much it. I'm gonna double check that I have these backed off all the way. I was messing with it the other day. So that's back off. Once you pull that spring, these fellas just come right off. I don't know if you can see that, but that's probably part of the problem. This thing's been getting over greased through the S-cam. There's a big pile of grease and some corn dust and some mouse crap and some soybeans. You know, just the standard issue stuff for a grain truck. So there's probably why we were having some issues with the brakes braking. Now, try and get this clean. Alright, so waiting on the seals, but I can drive those in after the fact, put them on here. Cleaned all this off, the backing plate with some oven cleaner and some brake cleaner, and got that whole situation straightened out. And now I'm going to start putting the shoes back on. So here we go. Well, I guess I should say before that, time-lapse doesn't have sound. I got the parts kit, but I'm not going to use everything because most of that stuff's in good shape. And I don't want to mess anything up by taking it apart, but I am for sure going to replace the springs. And the rollers. So this one, they're color coordinated for whatever reason. This black one with the zigzags on the end goes on the bottom right here, holds the shoes together against the anchor pin, and then this one goes up on top. If I recall correctly, this is the easier one to put on, so I'm going to put this one on last. And then Dennis told me to leave the rollers out at the end because it will be easier to stretch it that way and then pop the rollers in afterwards. So I'm going to give that a shot. All right, so we're about to be, anyways, back in action. I think I said before they gave me the wrong shoes at the Fleet Pride that I stopped at on my way home from work one day last week. Conveniently, I went to the Napa in my hometown, and they had the right shoes, actually for cheaper than at Fleet Pride, with the hardware kit. So I got those. I got, my buddy Dennis picked up a set of bearings and seals that he's going to loan me, and I will replace to him once I get this put back together. So I've got, I guess if you're curious, that's the part number on the Halidex brakes that I got. And so far they look right. And then this is the seal kit that I'm going to use. Stemco. So let's get after it. I'm gonna put the shoes on first, get those situated on here. Once that's all settled in, I'll go back, put the inner bearing, replace the race, new bearing, seal, slide the seal on, and away we go. So stick around. All right, so full disclosure, before someone calls me out, if you were paying attention when I drove that seal in a second ago, the bearing wasn't in there yet. I had it on the shaft to make sure that it fit right and that the shaft was good. And then I got carried away, got excited like the young schoolboy I sometimes turn into, put the race in and threw the seal in. So luckily I popped it out. Came out in one piece. I didn't screw it up at all, and then I put the bearing in and then the seal in behind it. So there's somebody commented a while ago on one of my videos, man, I sure would like to see me make a mistake. So whoever you were, there you go. The first of many. Actually, probably not the first. Actually, before I do that, I want to grease this seal so it doesn't catch and tear. This is clean grease over here that I pumped out to use on the S-cam roller, so don't freak out. Yeah, that came pretty clean. Just rub it in real good, like, I don't know, something you rub in really good. Skipped a step. See, got excited again. So this thing goes behind the seal, and this little pin fits into a hole on the back side there, and that keeps it from turning. So this stays stationary to the backing plate, like so, and then that stays up against the seal to help it hold tight and keep all the guts together. So close. there's that hole I was talking about. Oh yeah, so there's another O-ring in here. The grease is maybe too stiff. There we go. Good deal. So then the seal slides over this thing. The seal rides on this ridge right here. That's actually what it seals to. And then, well, on both sides actually. Keep the gear oil lubricant action inside. As I'm told from my new friend Dennis. All right. All right, so I'm not actually going to finish it today because this is the cap that came off of it. The plastic on it's cracked, so if I wanted to, well, it still holds oil and it will do its job to an extent if I had to go somewhere or something like that, but I want to replace it with a new one like this, but I didn't pay attention when I bought them. I was more concerned about the bolt pattern. I didn't think about that this one is taller, which it wouldn't really hurt anything and hold more oil, so that's good, I guess, but it's also going to stick out more. So I think I'm going to try and find these from another parts store or see if my Napa in town will order me the short ones. And then if that works, this is aluminum. It's just kind of like pop aluminum, crappy cast aluminum. I would like to possibly polish these up and get chrome bolt heads to go in there or paint the bolt heads black, something like that, because eventually I want to clean all these drums off. Well, the hubs, I guess they are, the drums are behind there. Clean those up, repaint them. I think I'm going to go with black on those. The rims are going to be red and then maybe black or red for the wedges. I don't know. We'll see. And then I've got chrome caps that are going to go over the nuts, so that'll look cool. Just to kind of church it up a little bit. So I'm not putting this on. I'm not going to fill it up with oil yet because unless I have to move the truck, I'll throw one on and fill it up with oil. Gotta get some out of the back. But I am gonna check the slack adjuster. Again, I will say this with the caveat that I'm not an expert. A lot of people say just to tighten them until they're tight and then back them off. I don't know, when I was in the bus barn, we would always jack them up and basically do the same thing, but we would spin them so that they were just hanging up. So I'm good with that. They're just barely touching, so that'll wear in, and then you can always check them again after a little bit of drive action. So, minus gear oil, I got 5 gallons of 80/90 that's gonna go in here when I get the right cap, and then it's done. So we got new shoes, new hardware kit with the shoes, one new bearing and race. The outer one was in good shape still. I don't know if it just didn't wear or if it got replaced prior. And then a new seal and seal kit for the inner bearing also. So we're in good shape. When my buddy Dennis was here, we took a look at the kingpins real quick. He said he didn't think that they were in bad shape, so that's good, because if we did change those, basically I got to pull all this stuff off. Again, double your pleasure, double your fun. So yeah, I'm going to do the same exact thing on the other side, so stay tuned.